Hello, everybody, and welcome to GravityKit Live. I'm Zack.
Hey, everybody. I'm Casey.
And we've got a big GravityKit Live for everybody today. We've got a lot to show off and a lot of exciting new developments to talk about.
Yeah, we do. I've been excited about this one for a while, and it's really cool to be able to show some brand new stuff that nobody's seen before.
Yeah, like nobody's seen. Normally, like we put out some feelers to customers to get some feedback first. That's not happening today. There's some cool stuff out there. Hey, Klaus, good to see you. So we're going to be talking about new announcements, but first we want to go over just a couple of things in the Gravity Forms world that people might not be knowing about that are really cool. Gravity Forms has some, Gravity rather, has been doing some really cool stuff with emailing, and we just installed this on our own website. Casey, what am I talking about?
Yeah, so if anybody didn't know, Gravity Forms released a plugin called GravitySMTP. And it's a really nice plugin for WordPress where you can integrate different email service providers and make sure that your emails get sent reliably. So they just released version 1.8, which integrates with Spark Post and MailJet. And they have a lot of integrations now with all the main kind of email sending platforms. They've got MailerSend, Mailgun, Postmark, SendGrid. There's a whole load of them. And this is a really nice plugin. If you're sending a lot of emails from your site or you have a client that is needing to do that, this is a great plugin to install and ensure that your emails arrive reliably. And yeah, they're really updating it quite frequently and adding new integrations. So it's definitely something that's worth checking out.
Yeah, and we moved from Fluent SMTP to Gravity SMTP, and it is such a nicer experience. Like it looks polished. It's just beautiful. The email logs are really nice.
Yeah.
One of the things that I appreciate is that it has email suppressions, so you can add a person to a do not email list essentially, which Fluent SMTP didn't have. So I'm really impressed with the fit and finish of the Gravity SMTP plugin. I highly recommend it to everybody. I think it's everybody with a developer license gets it included in their license, but check out Gravity SMTP on Gravity Forms' website to find out more.
Yeah. And then, yeah, another just quick thing before we get started. We have these live calls every month. So this is a monthly live stream. Zack and I hop on and chat about updates, product updates that we've been working on. We do live demos and we take your questions in real time. And you can always find the next one and you can sign up for it at gravitykit.com/live. There's always a registration form here. If you fill in your details, you'll get sent the link there. So yeah, just a reminder that this does happen every month. So yeah, definitely look out for the next one, which will be in April.
Yeah, and it's GravityKit Live, not GravityKit Live, but if you wanted to say it that way, who am I to say it's wrong? Yeah, and if you have any questions while you're watching, please ask away. If you have any thoughts, please leave it in the chat. We'd love to interact with you during this call.
Yeah, please do. Please do ask questions. Yeah, we are ready to answer them, and yeah, we'd love to interact.
So Casey, we've been doing a customer survey where we ask customers all sorts of questions because we want to make sure that we're addressing everybody's needs when they use GravityKit. And a lot of our customers use a little plugin you might have heard of. It's called Elementor. And Elementor is so powerful. It's so easy to use. And we have been hearing that people want Elementor integrations. And so we are doing more of that. So in last year, we released Gravity Forms widget for Elementor because we identified that a lot of Elementor users had to install this like entire package of Elementor add-ons in order to get the one Gravity Forms configuration widget. And we were like, well, why isn't there just a good standalone Gravity Forms widget for Elementor? So we built one. And people are loving it. It's a huge success. People find it so much easier to embed a Gravity Forms form. We're going to be adding a lot more functionality to that soon, so stay tuned. We're going to be adding ability to customize the styling of your Gravity Forms form right from inside Elementor, like styling the inputs, styling all the different possible style elements. But today we're not talking about that. We are talking about a GravityView Elementor widget. We're going to be bringing all our GravityKit products to Elementor. And today we've got a first peek at our GravityView widget for Elementor. So Casey, I'd love to have you show the folks what we've been working on.
Yeah, I would love to. This is really exciting. Like Zack mentioned, Elementor, obviously a very, very powerful page builder for WordPress, and really allows you to kind of customize and style things directly in the Elementor editor. And that's really what we're bringing to GravityView. So now you're going to have the option to really customize and style your views using Elementor without having to tinker with CSS or anything like that. So it's really a powerful piece of the puzzle. And you know, we are committed to kind of integrating these different no-code tools to make things as easy as possible for you when you're designing views.
Yeah, and just a little disclaimer, this is not the fully ready for release version that we're previewing today. We haven't gone through QA yet. It's not like perfect yet. We are going to keep on iterating this, and we're planning on releasing it by the end of April. So this is an early preview of what we've been working on. It's not ready yet, but I hope you see the potential. So Casey, let's show the folks what we've got.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, as you can see, I've got the required plugins installed here. I've got Elementor installed. This is what Zack was talking about. This is our previous integration that we launched for Gravity Forms. And this is the new one that I've got installed here for GravityView. So I'm going to go ahead and create a page here on my test site. And I'll just give that a name, my view. And then I'll go ahead and click Edit with Elementor. And that will go ahead and launch the Elementor builder. Elementor is like a visual page builder for WordPress. We can drag widgets here into the page, and you can position things and style things directly from the editor. So now with our new integration, if we scroll down, you'll see a GravityView widget. So I can go ahead and grab that and drag it into my page. And the first thing I'll need to do is select a view that I want to embed here. So I can just select a view here from the dropdown. I'm going to go ahead and select my member profiles view. There we go. And you can see it loads automatically, instantly inside the editor here. So we get like a live preview of our view as we're working on it and as we're customizing it. So this is really cool. So the first thing I'll go ahead and do is just show you the view settings here. So if I open this little tab that says Customize View Settings, you can see there's a bunch of options here. And these are all of the options available in the shortcode. So the GravityView shortcode includes a bunch of different parameters where you can kind of customize different things. And now you can do that all in Elementor. So, you know, changing the number of entries per page and filtering by date, sorting, all of that kind of stuff. So that's all, we can control all of that here. And then the really exciting stuff is in the Style tab. So if I go ahead and open that, yeah, you can see there's a lot of different options here, a lot of different tabs. And these different tabs here correspond to different areas in the view editor. So for this particular view, I'm using the list layout. And if I go to the view editor, I can kind of see what I'm talking about here. This is the view editor in the back end. And you can see there's different areas. We've got like the listing title zone and the subheading zone. And we've got this zone for the image and the other fields. And then we've got the footer area here. And all of these zones are reflected here in Elementor. And if we kind of open them up here, you can see there's a lot of different styling options for each one. So that allows us really to customize each section of the view. So the first thing I notice here is that this view doesn't look particularly great. It's just a list. We've got one member after the other. So let's make it look a little bit better. I think that the first thing we can do is open up the list entries tab here and actually change the number of entries per row. So right now the default's to 1, but we can just change that to 2 or 3 or 4, 5 even. And this is already looking better as a grid layout. So that it's just super easy now to do this kind of stuff, which is really great. So I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we'll leave it at 4. Yeah, I think that looks good. We can also ensure that entries are of an equal height to make things look nice and uniform. We also have the option to like control the gap between entries. So we can kind of change this if we want to. Maybe that's a bit too much. We'll bring it down a bit. So as you can see, every little kind of detail here is editable in Elementor, which is really awesome. We have margin, we have padding controls. Yeah, so let's see. I'm not too happy with this border, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So I'm going to just go to the border type option here, and we'll select none, get rid of that border. We've still got a little bottom border showing up here, and this is coming from the title zone. So I'm just going to open up that tab there and set that border to none as well. So that'll get rid of all the borders. And then let's go ahead and add a little drop shadow to make it pop a bit. So I can come down here to box shadow, and I'll open that. And you can see here we have the option to really customize the box shadow as we see fit. So maybe I'll just change the blur a little bit, and we can change the spread. Whoa, that's way too much. Let's bring that down. Do something like that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm quite happy with that. Maybe the last thing we'll do is change the link here. So I'm going to come down here to the field values, and I can go ahead and change the link color. So I can open up this. Maybe I'll make it green. That looks a bit funky. Maybe we'll go back to blue. But we also have the option here to add some styles to the link. So maybe we do a nice underline. I think that looks pretty good. And let's see, we also have the option to change the hover styles. So really, we've got a lot of different options here. So that's nice. So you can see as we hover over that link, the color changes. And what's really great about this is as you're customizing stuff in Elementor, you're seeing the preview load instantly here. So you can see exactly what it's going to look like. And this just saves you so much time. And it makes it super easy just to get the view looking exactly the way you want it, aligned with your branding and aligned with your website. Okay, cool. And then you might be wondering, what about the single entry layout? We've done the multiple entry layout. What about the single entry layout? Well, that is all customizable in Elementor as well. And I can edit that by just toggling it here, clicking the multiple entries preview, and that'll toggle to the single entry preview. So here it is. And again, we can style each zone in the editor. So we have full control over all the different aspects of the single entry. So I'll just show a couple of the different options here. Maybe I will just open the content image zone here, which is the member profile image. And we can kind of tinker with this width. We can change it here. Maybe that looks pretty good. Leave it like that. And yeah, we've got our links, which are hovering nicely. Maybe we'll change the typography. So we can open up the content description, for example. This is this area here, like the bio and the the social links. And we have the option to adjust the typography, which means we can choose a new font family here. And we've got all these different options to choose from. Maybe I'll select Trebuchet, it's quite a nice one. Maybe one of the Google fonts down here. Yeah, you can see how that reflects instantly as I change it. So we've got so many different options here. We can change the font weight even. And yeah, there's a whole host of options to get things looking exactly how you want them to look.
Yeah, and for the content image zone, Casey, if you go into that,
Yeah.
One of the cool things about Elementor is that you can design not just for desktop, but if you click that little icon there for the monitor, you can set different widths and stuff for different breakpoints for different mobile and tablet designs. So if you wanted to have a different width for tablet and a different width for desktop, you can do that. So anytime you see those types of icons, that's a responsive control, and you can have different settings for each one. So this makes GravityKit and GravityView like a lot easier to configure for different viewports, which is neat.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, Elementor really provides so much control. And yeah, it just makes it super easy to ensure that things are exactly the way you need it.
Yeah, so that's the list layout. What about for table layouts?
Yeah, so let's take a look at an example with the table layout. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the back end here and just create a new page. And let's give it a name.
Casey, before we do,
Sure.
before we move on, Klaus asks, can you show us the configuration of the single entry in this view? So we still have to place the fields in the configuration of the view itself, or we have to build it with HTML and CSS. Klaus, we are continuing to have the configuration be inside the view itself. And that if you see the different layout tabs up top, multiple entries layout and single entries layout. Casey, if you could click on single entry layout, this is what that looks like in the back end. So each one of these represents a field in Gravity Forms that is being populated into the view on the front end. So you can also you can do some custom code with HTML and CSS if you want to, but the goal for the Elementor widget is to be able to configure the view data in the view editor, and then be able to customize the display of that in the Elementor configuration. And that way we can have, we're not just going to stop at Elementor, by the way. If somebody else is like, I use Avada, I use Divi. This is setting the framework for how we're going to be working with other page builders in the future, including Gutenberg and the block editor. This is the type of customization we're going to be bringing to everything. So the configuration is going to remain in the view editor, and then we're going to make styling in the page builders something that is easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. And we also do have different layout options in the view editor as well. Today we're just showing you the list layout and the table layout, but this will be available for all the different layouts, including our layout builder, which gives you a bit of extra control over the structure of your view.
Yes, and including DIY. So Klaus asks about using DIY with Elementor. We're going to be adding support for that as well. So you'll be able to set the HTML structure that you want with DIY, and some basic CSS if you want to do that in the view. All the CSS that you add to the view in the view settings will also be output as it normally is. So you can enhance that with Elementor. It's not a full replacement if you want to do your custom CSS as well. So our goal is to have it be like nicely integrated.
Absolutely. All right, so let me continue with my table example here. So again, we'll just edit this page with Elementor. And I will go ahead and drag in the GravityView widget. And then this time I'm going to select a different view. We're going to go ahead and select the Fortune 500 companies. So it's just a simple table, pulling in entries. Each entry is some information about a company in the Fortune 500. And yeah, again, we have all the same options. We have all the view settings here that we can customize. These are sort of the basic options available in the shortcode. So we can change like the number of entries per page, for example, make that like 10. You can see that reflects there. Yeah, I didn't really show this before, but we've got a bunch of cool options here. We can change like the sort direction, change the sort field and the sort direction and things like that. So that's all customizable inside Elementor. And then, of course, we have the Style tab. And of course, that's a little bit different for the table layout because now we're dealing with rows and columns. But you can see that each sort of section of the table is customizable here from the table container, the table header, the footer, and the individual rows and cells as well. So let me go ahead and let's do some table header styles. Let's go ahead and add a background color. Let's do blue, and then we'll change the text color to white. So I think that looks quite nice. And then we can center the column headings there. That looks pretty good. Maybe we'll also change the typography a little bit. So let's choose a nice sort of headline font, maybe this one. Yeah, so that looks cool. And yeah, so you can see all these different options here. We have options for the table cells. Like we could change the font, the text color, for example, for the data that's in the table itself. So like we could make that green. Of course, Elementor has this nice color picker where you can select exact colors for your data, which is really cool. So yeah, and then something that I did really want to highlight was the fact that you can also style the pagination. So as you can see on the bottom of my table, I have these page links, which again is a widget that's being pulled through from the view editor, but it's completely stylable and customizable here in Elementor. So I can open up the pagination tab here, and there's a lot of options. So for example, if I want to kind of increase the space there, I can kind of add a top margin. Let's see, what else do we want to do? Maybe increase the space between the numbers. We can go ahead and do that. And there's a whole host of other options here. Maybe we'll add maybe we'll add a border.
Yeah, Casey, can you show the ability to change the pagination settings if you scroll down?
Oh,
the
yeah.
end size and the mid size. So that's one of the things with like WordPress pagination functionality. You can click show all pages, or you can say like, okay, I want the ... in the middle to be like I want more links on one side or the other. You can customize that. And then the arrow links, the next label, instead of the right angle quote, you can go down to next label and add something before the ampersand there. Yeah. And you can change the next label to say next and then right angle quote.
Like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so that like
You
all
really
that
have full
stuff would have
control.
required filters in the past. And we have tons of filters in GravityKit and GravityView, but now this is all just built into your page builder experience.
Yeah, this is awesome. And it just makes it so much easier to get things looking the way you need it to. And like Zack was saying, you can change like the end size and the mid size depending on how many page links you want to show on either side of the, the ... here. So this is really fine fine control over all the different elements. Awesome.
Yeah, and how about row colors? Because one of the things that is nice is to have alternating row backgrounds.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so we can open up table rows here. Let's see, alternate row background. So let's go ahead and choose a nice color here, maybe like a gray. Don't see that coming through. But as we said, this is something that we're still working on.
Right. Well, we'll fix that.
Yeah, we will.
You can do it. It's a thing that's possible.
Yeah, everything here that you see will be stylable and working in the once we release this. But yeah, it's still something that we're still working on at the moment. But yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along really nicely.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally excited, and so is Dennis, who is joining our call. He says, "Wow, this is so great! This is going to help me so much. I'm sitting here with a big smile, so happy with this. Awesome." While we're developing this, we also are smiling because we realize like how much functionality and power this unlocks, and can't wait to have this out in your hands. And yeah, if you're interested, email us, support@gravitykit.com. Like I said, we're going to try to get a beta out by the end of April. But if you want early access, like give us an email. And I'm a sucker for sharing early access with people and getting early feedback. Yeah, Klaus says, it would be absolutely great if we could place every single field with a GravityView field widget and an Elementor designed for single entries. Yes, that would be awesome. There are some technical considerations. I've been really working hard to we've been trying to get everything working as smoothly as possible. This is the goal, Klaus, but we're working toward it, and we'll see if we can get there. Yeah, right. The bordering is really nice with the different border settings that Casey's demonstrating.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the great thing about this, because you don't have to have the same border for the cells and the header, for example. Everything is kind of separated here into the different areas, and you can tweak them individually, which gives you a lot of control.
Yeah, so that's our Elementor widget for GravityView. And we're also not going to stop at GravityView. GravityView, the plugin that has multiple shortcodes. So for each one of our shortcodes, we're going to represent those with Elementor widgets. So the field values shortcode, the view details shortcode, the single entry shortcode where you can embed a single entry, that's also going to be an Elementor widget. So all this kind of stuff is going to be baked into Elementor. And yeah, it's our goal is to have you not need to touch code if you don't want to touch code, and make powerful no-code applications using Gravity Forms as the foundation and GravityKit as the application builder on top of that. So one of the things that we've released recently that we want to spread the news about, because it's really cool, that enables this type of powerful application building, is our dynamic lookup field. And what that does is what, Casey?
Yeah, this is a really powerful free add-on that we put out. And the dynamic lookup field adds a new field type to Gravity Forms, where you can pull in field choices from other Gravity Forms entries or WordPress users. And now we are adding WordPress posts and custom post types to that as well. So if you're not aware of this, it's a fairly new add-on that we released. It's completely free. You can go to our website and download it and play around with it. And there is a blog post here that we put out kind of explaining how it works. But yeah, I thought I would just give a quick demo of how it works when pulling in WordPress posts and custom post types as field choices.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, so here I have another test site here, and I have this form, like a feedback form. And what I'm going to do is add an option, or add a field here where users can select a post to give feedback on, basically. So what I can do is just add our new lookup field here. Let's drag that in. And you can see the first thing you can do here is select, first of all, an input type for the field, and then the source of the choices. So like I mentioned, the dynamic lookup field can pull in choices from other Gravity forms. You can also pull in WordPress user data and now WordPress posts. So if I select WordPress posts, and then maybe I'll change the input type to like a radio button so you can kind of see the different options that populate. And I should probably give it a name too. So select a post. And yeah, that is only showing one post at the moment. Definitely got more than that. Let's take a look.
We do have caching set up.
Yeah, might very well be caching.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me go ahead and create a brand new form.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll start from the beginning. All right, my new form. So let's just put in a couple of fields to start.
While Casey recreates the form, I realized, oh shoot, we're about to, one of the things we've been working on, we're about to release a new website, hopefully in the next month. It's been a long road. And one of the things that we want to make sure is that our new website doesn't get worse than our existing website. We should implement this, Casey, on our website and have posts populated with the dynamic lookup field so we can say like, hey, have feedback on a specific page, and like, is anything broken? You know, submit this.
Yeah, totally. It's a great use case. All right, so I got my form kind of set up here. Let me go ahead and add the lookup field. And
we're in advanced tab. Yeah.
There we go. General tab. Select post, and I'll change the source of choices to my WordPress posts. Looks like it still might just be pulling in the one.
Shoot.
Let me go ahead and change that to product. Oh, there we go. So it might just be caching. I did import these posts just recently for this demo.
And we also need to do better cache control management, because this has happened to me as well.
Yeah, so it's obviously cached and it's not picking up the new posts, but that's okay. We'll get that fixed. This is how it works with products. So like I mentioned, it can pull in WordPress posts, but also custom post types. So like if you have WooCommerce installed or something, you can pull in those products as choices in the field. So that's what I'm doing here. You can see I'm running a WooCommerce store with some GravityKit merch, and I'm pulling in my products here as choices in the radio buttons field, which is really cool. And you can actually, there's some neat options here. So you can kind of filter by like a search term, for example, which is quite cool. So if I put in floaty there, it'll filter just showing the products with floaty in the name. And then you can also change the display format. You can show the title of the post, or you can show like the title with the ID, title with the date created, a title with the post type, etc. So there's a lot of cool options here for building like dynamic forms. And yeah, these choices will update as you get new products, or maybe you delete old ones. These choices will dynamically update to reflect that. So yeah, there's really a lot of options here for like creating dynamic forms and dynamic applications. yeah, I can just preview that form. You can see how it works. So we've selected the radio buttons type here, and I can just select that as an option. And all the options here are pulling in from my WooCommerce products that are on my website.
Right. And these are cached. Like the reason we shouldn't cache in the back end, and we're going to fix this, but on the front end, these are cached, so this is not like a huge load on your database. We have it set so that you can have up to 2,000 different choices populated dynamically, which you should like. It can scale up to that, right? So don't worry about the load on your server. This is all just preloaded, cached, and every subsequent time you load the page, it's not pulling from the database.
Right. Cool. So I wanted to quickly show one more thing, which is a new feature we just added in the new version of GravityView, which is like the ability to expand and contract fields. So I'm going to go back here to my view editor. This is the view that I was working with in the first demo. And when you're in the view editor and you have, for example, like a custom content field, I wonder if I'm even running the correct version here.
Right.
Zach, you might have to do this demo on your end if you're able.
Yeah, sure. I will take over here and let me share my screen.
Yeah, there's so much new stuff, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So let's say you add a custom content field to your view, and you're working on this, and you've got a lot of code, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is all getting a lot, and boy, I'd really like to see more. Well, guess what? There's a new expand button. Yay, you can now have unlimited height, unlimited width. If your monitor is huge, it will be huge. If your monitor is small, it will fill the screen. This is going to be really nice for people who are writing actual HTML in the custom content field. And one of the nice things about it is, okay, so let's say a custom content field, you close it. It doesn't apply the settings to everything, but it does remember per field when you're working on a view that you've expanded it. So like, I don't necessarily want the summary, like want this field to be expanded, because expanding it doesn't really do anything. But expanding the custom content field makes a huge difference as a developer. I really appreciate that. Furthermore, it applies to widgets as well. So if you want to have more space to rearrange, to drag and drop your search bar settings, you can do that with the expanded expanded dialog, and you can contract it back when you're done. So this is just like a little quality of life improvement that came from speaking with customers. So Philip, thank you for your suggestion. We implemented it, and I have wanted this since the creation of GravityView in 2014. I've been like, it's kind of constrained having a custom content field that's so small. I wish somebody would do something about this. Well, fast forward 11 years, and we have it. It's done.
So the takeaway is, if you have a feature that you really want, tell Zach and he'll build it for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is to improve your life. So if anything at all is a frustration for you when using the plugins that we make, please let us know. It really helps us, and we'd love to implement something to make your life better. So expand and contract dialogues. That's a new feature in GravityView. One of the great things that we're working on, and we've got even more to show. This is quite the live call, Casey.
It is, yeah. I mean, we've got something super exciting about to come up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So one of the things that we experienced when we were dealing with building applications using GravityView and this has happened, we have customers asking for this for a decade, is how do we make it so that people can submit an entry and then edit the entry later? And our solution to that has been, well, have them create an account when they submit the entry. Use the Gravity Forms user registration add-on so that when they submit the entry, they get automatically assigned a WordPress user account, and that will allow the entry creation, like the entry user, to be assigned at the time that the entry is created, and then they can log in and edit it and stuff like that. That's a lot of work, and that also is a security issue in ways. Like, people don't necessarily want users created on their WordPress website. It can create bloat. It can has a lot of different knock-on effects that people don't necessarily want to register. There's also like probably European laws that make it more complicated with the type of data that's being stored for users. Well, a lot of people have emailed us over the years and said, isn't it possible for somebody who's logged out to edit the entry that they created? Well, we have now added this functionality using a technology known as magic links that I'm sure everybody is aware of, where people use their email as a login mechanism. So I'd like to demonstrate this to y'all, and I'm going to do that using my screen. And again, if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat, or if you have any comments, love to answer anything that comes up.
Yeah, and this is something, like Zack said, people have wanted for a while, and it's going to be a brand new extension for GravityView.
Yes, it is going to be an extension. So we have a view here where let's say somebody submits a file, and this is actually a view that's going to be used later in a demonstration for a question that a customer asked, but might as well use it for this demonstration for magic links. So we have a view where people have submitted files, and you want to add the ability to edit those files after if the person submitted it. This is the view in the back end, and there's a new setting called magic links. And if you enable magic links, you can say, okay, I want the user who submitted this entry to be able to edit it. And you can
Could
do
you
that
zoom in
using...
a little bit there, Zack?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Awesome.
So this is an email field selector where you can choose the email fields that are in the form. So this form has an email field here where people can submit their email at the time of creating the entry. So you can say, okay, if the email of the entry matches the email that is entered, you'll be able to edit. I'm just going to show this because it's a lot easier for me to show than it is to describe. So let's open this in a new private window. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to add a new field that says it's called edit entry, link to edit entry. Normally, this is only shown when somebody is logged in. But when you have magic links enabled, we change the functionality so that it is now available. So let me change this to be visible in data tables, so that it is enabled when people are logged out. So when you click edit entry, when you're logged out and magic links is enabled, you now have the option to request edit access. So here's how this works. These entries have an email that are assigned to it. And you can see the email for this entry is user@example.com. Now, if somebody enters in an email that is not user@example.com, not user, they'll be shown a message that says success, because this is a good security practice to not let people know what the actual email is, because that exposes people to hacking. But if it is a match, then guess what? You're going to get a link to edit the entry. Click the link below to securely edit your entry, edit the entry. Now I'm going to click this link, and I'm automatically taken to edit the entry because the user at example.com matched the value, and this was sent to user at example.com, this email. So now I have access without logging in to edit the entry in GravityView.
And Zach, are those emails customizable? Can I change the text?
Can you change the text?
Yeah, in the email itself.
The email, you can change this using filters. Currently, we're going to be adding the ability to modify this message. What you can also do is you can set up, when the form is submitted, you can set up a notification that uses that merge tag. So, but before we get to that, I want to show some other cool features where, let's say you don't want to validate by email, and what you actually want to do is have a specific list of emails that are allowed. So like for GravityKit, if anybody at the GravityKit email domain has access to edit, we'll do a ** at gravitykit.com. That'll be anybody at gravitykit.com can edit, anybody at cats.co can edit, and those emails should all be allowed. You can do in addition to the email field, or you can do don't pay attention to the email field and only pay attention to these allowed emails. You could also do example at example.com if you wanted to. You can do a specific email address as well. So you can have generic match, like a wildcard match, or a specific email match. There's also settings for how long the link will be valid for, from 5 minutes to 12 hours, and also an edit window. So you can change how long an entry is editable. So after it's created, let's say you want to have an entry that's editable for 1 year from the time it's created. But after that, it's not editable. You can set that up here. Or you can say no time limit and it's editable permanently.
So Zach, before you move on, we had a question here from Klaus asking, allowed emails can edit all entries, right?
In this view, correct. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm going to save these settings, and I'm going to go back to the request edit access screen. Now, because user at example.com is no longer enabled because I removed it from the email field and I only added example at example.com, this should not work anymore. So I'm requesting access and I'm not getting an email. The email didn't come through. Request access, no email. But if I go to one of the approved emails and request access, it comes in. And then I click to edit the entry and it works. So that is an example of the edit entry link functionality in the Magic Links extension. But there's more. You can go to edit your form and add a confirmation or a notification message so that, like, let's say when you submit the entry, you want the person who entered the who submitted the entry to have a magic link that expires. Remember, we can set the expiration date. Sorry, I'm moving around. You can set the expiration date for a month from now. So let's say you submit an entry and you want it to be editable for a month. You can send the email to the email field. Oops. From name. Let me go back to from name is name, or actually from name GravityKit demo. From email. Doesn't matter because it's not live. Your entry was submitted. What you can do is now add a merge tag. And what you need to do is to add the view ID to, this is the view ID, add the view ID to the merge tag. So view ID equals 1501. And we have a doc for this, so you won't just need to remember how to do this. And I've created a notification now so that when people submit the form, they will get an email. And the email should come through. Your entry is submitted. Click here to edit. Uh-oh, I don't think I set up the merge tag properly. We have the doc on it written, but not published. So I'll refer to it later. But just know that the link comes through like it did here. You can also modify the text that comes through. You can have different formats for URL and also for an anchor text, like an actual link that has text in it. You can choose to have that or a URL. And then people will have the ability to edit the entry using a magic link for however long you decide based on the settings in the view.
Awesome. And the advantage with that way of doing things is that it's like an automatic notification, right? So if you wanted people to be able to edit something that they just submitted.
Right. And they can look it up in their email history and find it. If it's still active, they can do that. They can edit it. Or if it's no longer active, they can click the flow that I already showed where they can request a new email login links or like email magic link to edit the entry.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's magic links, and that's going to be added to GravityView Pro package as a Pro extension, and that should be out in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be out real soon.
Klaus has a couple questions. So allowed emails can edit all entries. You already asked that one, Casey. Yes. In the view, not all entries, but like in the view, if they're visible in the view, yes. And Klaus asks, why don't you choose select a field and send to? I should have done that.
Either one would work,
yeah.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Magic Links coming soon to you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we have a bit of time left for some Q&A. We do have some questions that were already submitted, but if anyone has any other questions, please go ahead and throw them in the live chat, and we will answer them for you. I'm going to get things started with a question here from Mark, who asked about using GravityMath to show live data on a page. I want to just quickly give an example of how to do that. So I'll just throw my screen back up here. Can you see that, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So GravityMath is one of our add-ons that allows you to perform advanced calculations on your Gravity Forms data. And you can output those calculations using a shortcode anywhere on your website. And that shortcode will update as you receive new data. So that calculation will always be like up to date. We have a live demo of this that you can check out at gravitymath.try.gravitykit.com. And here we have some calculations that are being shown. And we also show the shortcode that's being used to generate those. So as an example, I have a form that's taking in data about companies, their revenue and operating expenses, and different metrics like that. And I'm showing some calculations here, like the average revenue across all companies. In this case, it's $69 billion. And I can open this to see the shortcode that's being used to generate that calculation, which is right here. But I'll just quickly give a demo of how this will update based on new data, because we have this form here. And I can go ahead and just add a new entry. Like let's do like ABC Corp as the company, and the industry doesn't really matter. We can just throw in some numbers here for the revenue, the operating expenses. And then I can go ahead and submit this form, and you'll see the calculation here should change based on this new data. So I'll go ahead and submit that. And as the page reloads here, you can see now the average revenue across all companies has dropped to 66 billion. So that calculation has updated based on the new entry that I added. So basically, the answer is, yeah, you can show live calculations on a page using the GravityMath shortcode, and we have lots of documentation about how to use this shortcode to do calculations based on your form data.
Yeah,
and of
thank
course,
you, Mark,
if you wanna,
for the question.
yeah, thank you. And of course, if you want to mess around with this yourself before committing to a license, you can just go ahead, go to our demo site, and then you can even clone the website yourself and like play around with the shortcodes in the backend.
Yeah. We have another question that came in that is regarding how do you create a document view where the documents are divided like a folder tree so that all the documents are not in one long list together? Jonathan writes that, and I will show you how that works. So in preparing this answer, I decided to go ahead and use a chained select field, which is a field type that's added, that's included in a Gravity Forms premium plan, like a pro plan. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So document library. There are documents, and one of the ways that we can think about the different folder structure is like a chain select. So what chain select means is that you have a parent field, a parent select form. I'm going to show this in the form field, form editor.
Zack, I don't see your screen
Oh,
at the moment.
okay. Whoops. Let me try again.
Maybe try re-add it.
Yeah. I'll just share my entire screen. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So we have a form that has a category field, which has a parent category and a subcategory. And I like to think of this as a nested directory. So you have a parent directory called, finances, and a subdirectory called templates, assets, general, and then you save the files there. So let's see what that looks like when you look at an entry. Whoops, that's the entry I just created in the demo. So you can see here, this sales analysis template. When creating the entry, I chose that it was in the marketing category in a subcategory of assets. So like this template is going to be reused, so it's going into the assets folder. Now, when we display that in GravityView, we can go to marketing, and then it populates the subcategories automatically, and we can choose assets and then click search. And in GravityView, that shows us the entries that have marketing as the category and assets as the subcategory. If you want to go to the parent folder and see all the files that are in marketing, you can just not choose any of these subcategories. And you can see general, reports, assets all together. But if you want to drill down more, you can do so like that. One of the nice things about this is that change selects also supports multiple columns. So you can have as many, depth items as you want. So you can, right now we have 2 layers of depth, but you can do multiple more layers of depth. So that's one way to do it. You can also then group in data tables. You can group by the category. And I haven't tried this out, so of course it might not work. I have a penchant for demonstrating things that don't always work in the demos. Okay, marketing general. So you can see actually it is working. The category, technical general, category marketing reports. So you can see all the assets are grouped together here, and you can view them all in a grouped way. And we don't have many entries here, but if we did, it would look more logical. Yeah, so that's one of the ways that I recommend doing this, is using the change select field to accomplish this kind of organizational structure.
Yeah, and I put the link to change selects in the chat there if anybody's interested in checking that out.
Cool. All right. Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah.
Cool. Casey, do you want to answer that?
Oh, yeah. So this actually came in on Reddit. Somebody asked, how do you handle sending bulk email notifications to users who have previously submitted a form? It's a really good question. And we actually built an add-on specifically for this use case.
Yeah.
And it's called Gravity Actions. So basically what Gravity Actions allows you to do is to bulk, you can do two things. You can bulk update entries, and you can bulk email people that have submitted entries. So it's a really powerful add-on. And yeah, it basically does exactly what is needed there. And you can customize the emails with dynamic content using merge tags as well.
Yeah, and actually, I think it will work with magic links. It ought to, using the new magic links functionality and the new magic links merge tag.
Right.
I'm going to share my screen again and just show how this works in Gravity Forms to use Gravity Actions. Let's say you wanted to email only a few of these people. You check the boxes here, and then in the bulk actions drop down, you say bulk edit entries, then click apply, and that shows you. Oh, sorry, not bulk edit. Sorry, not bulk edit entries. Sorry, bulk email. Then you click apply, and you can choose the send to field as one of the fields from the form, or you can enter an email to send to, and then you can configure the email and send it off. I guess I'll do bulk email. Woohoo! Preview the message. It gives you a nice little message preview. It'll render the HTML here so it will look accurate. It shows you what email field is being used as the source of the data. And then you can send the message. You get a progress indicator. And then in the email, you can see bulk email was sent to all the different users. So it's that easy using Gravity Actions to bulk email, and Gravity Actions has the nice functionality where you can bulk edit. And that's actually how I set all these email addresses to be the same email. I used Gravity Actions to say that it was example.com. And you can bulk edit those just as easily as you can bulk email. So I love using our own add-ons to do things that I need done. And that's why we did it. It's because we needed it and our customers needed it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, Casey, we talked about GravitySMTP, really cool new add-on from Gravity Forms. We previewed our Elementor widget for GravityView. It's coming by the end of April, a public beta. If you want access earlier, let us know. So, hello@gravitykit.com. We're happy to provide you early access. We showed new post support for our dynamic lookup field. We previewed magic links functionality, which is coming in the next 2 weeks. We showed a new expand contract button in GravityView, and we answered some questions. I'd say that was an incredibly stacked GravityKit Live.
Yeah, I would agree. And we went just over an hour, so really a full live stream this month. And I'm sure we're going to have plenty of more exciting things to talk about and demo next time as well.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have a new website to show off as well.
Yeah.
No promises, but like, geez, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Klaus. And if you have any feedback for any of our products, anything we do, including what we can do to make this GravityKit Live better, please let us know. We want to improve. We want to make your life better. We're here to help you. Please send us email at support@gravitykit.com. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, thanks and see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Dennis. See you next time.